driver lineup is concerned, it's probably as good, if not better, than next year. Clearly the BOP thing at the moment doesn't look very good from the Cadillac standpoint, because the Mazdas seem to be in a different race. So hopefully they're going to do the right thing. Other than that, I've got to thank Cadillac and GM and Konica and Monata and everybody that have supported us for so many years. And now I'll surely be racing against my two sons, which will be great. So I'll have to get the guys to figure out how to take them out.
Thanks, man. Let's go. Let's start at the far end now. We're gonna go to Renger van Zane, third year with the team. Again, picked up his first Rolex 24 at Daytona victory here a year ago. Renger, just talk about from your perspective, maybe how the changes have gone for the team and what you're looking forward to here in the next few weeks.
It's the first race of a 10-race season, and I'm very happy to be here for the third year with this team. It's a team that has many team members that work there for a long time, so I think it's a very loyal team. It's a team where you can really have a long time as a mechanic, engineer, and I guess as a driver. But not when you're his son, I guess. But I think it's a good opportunity again to win Daytona. They are always in the top, whatever, 3 or 5 or something like that, to have a shot at the win. And I think Cadillac showed they have the most reliable car. Like Wayne says, it's also BOP. I think last year in the rain we were very, very strong. In the dry we were not so strong. So if it would have been dry, we probably would have had a tough one to win it last year. But altogether, I think we have a good shot at it. It's a great race. I love the event. I'm very happy that I won it once. It's always nice to have that one off, so you can focus on winning it again. The first one is always a special one, and I will always remember that one as a fantastic race to win. And then obviously Sebring. I never won Sebring, twice there a lot of times, so I think that's high on my bucket list for sure. But then many other races, so it's a start of a season, and I think I'm very happy to be here. I think with Ryan it works really well together so far. Same kind of driving style. Kamui obviously back, and I know him from a long time. Scott blending in really well. So I think altogether every piece is in place to do well here in Daytona and the rest of the season, and I'm motivated to go for it.
Thanks, Renger. Ryan, let's go to you. As we talked about, moving over from 4 years with the Ford GT program, first time back in a prototype car in a little while. Long-standing relationship also with Wayne. Can you just talk about how kind of all that came together for you to create what was looks like a pretty good opportunity for you for 2020?
Yeah, thanks. Just immensely excited and ready for 2020. It's massive opportunity. It feels great to be at Wayne Taylor Racing now, and this beautiful Cadillac DPI. It's just such a fantastic race car, and I'm still sort of getting used to it all and up to speed. But so far it's feeling really good. But as Wayne touched on, we were talking pretty early on last year when things were starting to look a bit shaky at Ford, and I'm just very thankful. Difficult times for drivers at the moment in IMSA that we were able to put this together, and here I am full time in the prototypes. It's great. So far I'm just feeling really good. I mean, getting to know Renger. Obviously, I've driven with Scott a lot over the years, and I think we're just using this test to prepare ourselves as best as possible for the 24, and where we want to kick off strong. It's the biggest race of the year, and we need to be 100% ready right away. So so far so good.
Thanks, Ryan. Kamui, let's go to you. Won the Rolex 24 at Daytona here last year. Was extremely fast out there. I guess just talk about maybe how much you enjoyed racing here at Daytona a year ago, and maybe how excited you are to be back here.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for this opportunity, Wayne, and also Toronto, maybe Cadillac. I think I'm very happy to be back here. After last year we won the race in 24 hours. I think I'm really big fan of the Dayton Speedway anyway. So I decided after the race 24 I came back for NASCAR here, the 500 Daytona. So I'm really happy driving back here, and just when you have a good memory, just when you drive yesterday, straight away I felt it's really happy and comfortable with the track and the car. So I think this is part of my history that I never had this feeling, but when I driven here, it's always really a challenging track, but still you give us little excitement as driver. So I think really good to be back here. And once again, I have thanks to this opportunity.
Thanks, Cody. And Scott Dixon, 5-time IndyCar champion, 2008 Indy 500 winner, won the Rolex 24 at Daytona a few times as well. First time back in a prototype car here at Daytona for a few years. And you had a big smile on your face a few minutes ago when we were talking about that. I guess just tell us how that feels to be back in a DPI car here and going for another overall Rolex 24 win.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. I didn't want to miss a Daytona 24. I think once we kind of got the gist of what was happening earlier in the year with the current program I was with fading out. I started speaking to Wayne maybe June or July, so it's quite early trying to see what the options were, and very thankful to be with this team, and it's definitely a privilege to come with a team that's defending champions as well. I think for me it's just it's been a lot of fun to get back into a prototype and not always kind of looking in the rearview mirror to see prototypes coming past like maybe Ryan and I have for the last couple of years. So for us, I think hoping for a clean race. It's going to be very competitive. As Wayne touched on, there's always a balance between what you kind of get with the series and the performance from other manufacturers, but we'll definitely be giving it 110% and try and go back to back.
Thanks, Scott. A couple of notes before we open it up for questions. Wayne, as a driver, won the Rolex 24 in 1996 and 2005. In 2005, it was with Max Angelelli and Manuel Collar. That's right. And then in 2017, Ricky Jordan and Jeff Gordon when they won that race. So go ahead and open up for questions. We'll get one to Jordan Bianchi here.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. This question is for Wayne. Wayne, what does Scott Dixon bring to this team? Maybe you had been missing.
Well, if you've watched IndyCar racing over the years, Scott was always there, and he never looks like he's out of control. And what I've learned with him being around the last couple of days is that he's incredibly laid back, which is really what you need when you go endurance racing. And he doesn't say a lot, but when he says something or when he asks a question, they're all the right questions. And he's done this race many, many times, and he's been with Ganassi for, 12, 14, 15 years now. And he brings a lot of stability. You never think your drivers are going to go off the road or crash or whatever. So you try and have people like that on the team, that everybody can get caught out. But Scott's just been around for so long, and he's been so successful. I just hope we can win it for him as well.
And Scott, what has been the transition for you back into a prototype? It's been a few years since you've been behind one of these cars.
I think there's always, a lot of differences. I think each car has its kind of nuances and specifics that are a little bit different. But it's been great. I think with Wayne's team, there's a lot of familiar faces. You got to remember the community's pretty small, so probably 5 or more people on the team I've worked with, and from Ganassi or through various other ways. But I think it's the team is a single car team, but it's got a lot of great people, and that's what I think it takes to win these races, is to have the talent and people that have the same goal in mind, and that's to win. And you feel that immediately when you walk through the door. That is the general consensus, and you don't find that too often. So for me, it's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun so far, and for all of us, the goal is to win.
Got one up here in the front from Holly. Got a mic coming to you here.
Holly Kane, the IMSA NASCAR Wire Service. I was curious, and any of you could answer this, but when you do have a team that is relatively a new combination like this, what do you do to kind of feel each other out? Are you guys going to dinners at night? How do you kind of, get it so you're all working together and stuff like that? What are some of the bigger challenges?
Don't all of you jump at once?
I think it's there are 4 professional drivers who know what it takes to win this race because they all won it, and you start straight away working on that. And it's so easy to work with people who are know how to do driver change practice and all that, driver changes on the right way. And we've also had drivers in the car who are like struggling to get it done. And I think this time it's been very, very smooth because of that. They all know the endurance racing, they know this race, so you don't have to really explain each other too much about how we're gonna do it. And on top of that, I think it's we all have the same passion about racing, so we can talk a lot about that. And Scott, obviously in IndyCar, there's a lot of information from his side that is very very interesting to us, and maybe the other way around, like Kamui and NLP1 for Toyota. So there's a lot of information that we can suck into Toyota racing because of that. That helps us forward. So we're here to win a race, and of course, so far it's been very, very nice between the 4 of us as well. So that's a benefit. Yeah.
Go back here to John.
Wayne, the 5 of you represent kind of a classic international combination. You're all from widely disparate places. You've all come together, and that's, I think, been the case at Daytona for a long time, maybe before we saw as much international play in other kinds of sports. And after that, Scott, to you, we've now had 5 Indy 500 winners on the stage within the last hour. Could you maybe at that point talk about Indy and Daytona and the importance of both?
Let me try and answer this because I'm not sure exactly what the question was, but
Just about the international.
yeah, the
flavor.
international side. Well, the thing is that the world has got so much smaller. When I first came here in 1988, to be paired with a European driver was somewhat strange and different, and they had their own agendas. Daytona and Le Mans, throughout its years, especially when you're a non-factory backed program and a private program, the problem for a lot of drivers is that they want to be in this race, but then when they get into this race, they want to always show the team owner that he's the fastest of the lot. And so the world has got so much smaller. Scott's made all the success in IndyCar racing, Kamui and Le Mans and all these Toyota winning. Ryan, both sports cars and IndyCars, and Ranger the same. And so it's, there's a million drivers out there that are available because there's just not enough drives. But you've got to be careful on who you hire and who you put in the car, because they need to be on the same page that we are as a team, and that is, you know what, if you win the race, it's not that you won the race, it's the team won the race. And so these 4 guys are very much team players. It is just weird, I just thought about it. So we've got a Kiwi, Japanese, Kiwi, whatever. We've got a Australian, we've got a Hollander, and I've got an ex-South African who's become an American. So we're very international.
Scott, just on the appeal of the Rolex 24 at Daytona as for Indy 500 winners like yourself.
I think there's many reasons. First would be the timing of it. It kicks off the year. I think, and then my passion for endurance racing started probably in 1999. I think when I teamed up with Jim Matthews maybe and Stefan Johansson in 1999 at Petit Le Mans in the Ferrari, and I didn't get to drive much. The car actually broke, but that whole weekend and that process was just I loved it. And then starting back in 2004 and coming here for the first time, and looking at the history, history I think is a big reason for a lot of people. you know, and you know, this race is, you know, one of the top 5 races in the world. You know, the competition level and even the manufacturer level now is big, and you know, kind of keep all these things pull you into it. But for me, it's the pure enjoyment. You know, I love doing this event, much as, you know, the Indy 500 or Sebring 12 hour or the Le Mans 24 hours. So yeah, it's never just one thing. It's many. But the history and trying to win this race, you know, how difficult it is definitely a large pull as well.
When, just a question for you, we've talked in the past about the relationship between you and Chip Ganassi, and you guys have raced against each other for quite some time, but there's a mutual respect there. If you wanted to talk a little bit about that, and maybe how that relationship, you know, played out with Scott joining your team.
Yeah, you know, when I think back from when Grand Am started in 2003 or 2004, Chip started his program and I started our program, and so since then we've always competed against each other. Both Chip and Mike I have a lot of respect for. I enjoy just having dinner with those guys and doing stuff. They go about the racing very much the same way as I do. I see them certainly on a higher platform than my program, so you always aspire to be like them. But you know, I feel good that Chip, I know that he wasn't going to let Scott just go anyway, and that he was going to allow Scott to come to me, and that really I felt really good about. And I spoke to him yesterday, as a matter of fact, and he said, "Oh, you're having fun down there at WG, and I'm sitting here watching the pouring rain." So I said, "Well, you know, you can come and hang out with us. You've got Scott here with us for the race." So it's been a great relationship. We've competed against each other. There's never ever been any drama with us. It's just been really fun. And it's a pity now, you know, when I think about it. I'm not probably the only team that's been in the series and never left, because I think Chip and I were together up until this year.
Well, additional questions if anybody wants to get in it. Okay, gentlemen, thanks very much. Congratulations on the 2020 season.